Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is. It's Taco Tuesday, so the Taco Tuesday gang is back in full effect. My man Randy Weber is having a fantastic football week. Hey, man, he'll break it all down to you. We'll recap week 6. All right, some of the games that we watch. We'll also, give out our 1/3 of the season awards. So yes, we know it's not the full season, but so far we're third away through the NFL season. We'll give those awards, and we'll kick off the show with a very important conversation, and that is responsible journalism. All right, it needs to be talked about because a lot of things has happened over the last couple of weeks that hey, responsible journalism needs to exist. So we'll talk about all that and more. Hey, it's I.O.W Sports Show Late Night Owl Edition. This episode, what is it? 490. Yes, we climbing up them numbers. So hey, let's get after it.
Yeah. Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, Late Night Edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is. It's Taco Tuesday. Yeah. Hey, you saw the headlines. Hey, we're going to talk a lot of NFL. We need to have a conversation on responsible journalism. But before we do all that, let's check in with my bro, man. Hey, Randy Weber, how you doing, man? We see the headline on your name tag. Explain that to the people real quick.
Oh, how I'm doing. Well, first of all, y'all saw on Thursday. Y'all saw what kicked off this week. Y'all saw my New York Giants, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatteroo, put the boot to ass
BTA
on the Eagles. Nobody expected it. Nobody, because y'all are haters. Vegas didn't expect it, and I cashed in on that shit.
Nice.
Right? So there's that. That's the best part. That's the highlight. Everyone's new favorite team. We got the win. Cowboys lost to the Panthers, to their former running back who put a clinic up on them.
Hey, he told them to buckle up. They didn't.
And then to finish the NFC East sweep, my two biggest dark horse ascension playoff picks, the two that didn't make it last year, who I thought were going to make it this year, two of my three, both won against conference championship game appearing teams on Monday night. Bears beat the Commanders and the Falcons beat the Bills. So I'm doing good. Certified ball knower in the building.
Hey, pop your shit, dog. I ain't even gonna be mad at you, dog. Talk your shit. Talk your shit, man. But no,
you should be happy too, man. After the whoop ass the Chiefs put on the Lions.
Yeah. We had to show a little BTA ourselves. I think I might have inspired us to, show some little BTA action going on. So yeah, man, we kind of took it to the next level. Before we get into tonight's topics, I look. Obviously, we are talking a lot of NFL heavy topics, and I understand that. But I think we're about a week away from NBA action kicking off. I just need to get your take on this. All right. Somehow the Milwaukee Bucks just signed the last Antetokounmpo brother. Just give me a take on that, because I got to hear what you got to say, because to me, I thought that was crazy. I don't want to blow it up and make it seem like it's a lot, but because I don't think he's gonna, if he does even make it the roster or even plays, I'm not sure. Talk to the people, man. What's going on in Milwaukee? What's up with all Antetokounmpo brothers on the same team?
I mean, it's obviously just a way to keep Giannis in the building. Like, it's
Yeah,
that's the idea. They're hoping that if they keep him happy, that they have some chance of winning something. Because he's shown, especially in what's a very anemic Eastern Conference with really only two serious teams, that you could just make Giannis work and hopefully go far with Giannis, and I think that's what they're hoping happens. I don't think that that's a good strategy. I don't think giving his brothers contracts to keep him around is a good strategy. I think you're in a position where he has a ton of value. You could get a haul for him, and you probably should look into doing so. But their plan seems to be to try to appease him and kiss his feet so he stays in Milwaukee. And I don't think that's a good long-term strategy, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, you pretty much hit all the talking points. I was like, huh? I was like, damn. Look, I get it. Hey, gotta keep the superstar happy as best as possible and try to keep him, mentally checked into your building and make sure that he doesn't want to actually submit a trade request. Even if he did submit a trade request, I don't think they're gonna let him. They're not just gonna trade him. You have to absolutely offer them the most craziest return for them to come up off of Giannis. I just think they think too much of him, and I think the Bucks organization probably don't see themselves without him. So I don't know if they even if they entertain a trade, it has to be crazy value that return that they want back.
Yeah, it would have to, and I'm sure there are teams that are willing to do that or have the assets to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a team like OKC that has an insane amount of assets and depth where they could give a haul of picks and players
Yep.
that would still keep the team really good for when Giannis comes and completes it. I don't think they're going to do that, but they could. I mean, I've put the Spurs as a possible landing zone to put him next to Wemby and Fox and Castle. But I don't think they have the trade value to make it worth it. I mean, you can depreciate it a little bit by pointing to his age, although him being 30, I think he's like exactly 30.
Yeah.
That's not crazy, right?
Right.
Like he has the insane physical gifts. He hasn't shown any decline.
Yeah.
But you could try to depreciate it a little bit by like being like, okay, but how long are you going to have him? Like how long is your window with him?
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to give up a haul, even if you try doing that with them.
Yeah. And especially if I do like that OKC take. I think I might had a similar take to that, just because it's like, hey, when you got and I get it, they did they re-signed at least a trio this past summer, so I understand, but still. Nothing's never concrete in the NBA. That's all I'm saying. So
that's true. And I wouldn't if I was in the OKC head office, I don't think I would blow up a team that just won the championship to make another team that might win a championship. But for star power's sake, ticket's sake, maybe they would consider doing that, and they're in the best position to do it if someone were to, if they wanted to.
Big facts. I just wanted to get your take on that, because I'm like, oh man, come on, what? Really? This is what we do? Like, it was one thing to ask for Thanasis back, and knowing that he's not going to contribute anything. I don't even know if he's going to get any minutes. And then you get your other brother Alex, who I forgot he was even good enough to even be in the league. But
that's a good row of names: Giannis, Giannis, and Alex.
Hey, and Alex, like, he probably feels like he's the odd one out. Why didn't I get no creative name? I just got as Alex.
Yeah, and then he was the only one not in the NBA too.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, damn, they really like he's been out the league. If I'm correct, at least a couple of years, nobody's been checking for him. So that, but I understand. Hey, nepotism is a thing in the NBA, big time.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the Lakers.
Yeah, that's the Lakers. But I just wanted to get your take on that because I saw that come by my feed. But look, we got to have a real conversation, and it's about responsible journalism. Is because, especially when it comes to this name, Kyron Lacy. Everybody knows what that name signifies. Young man from LSU, wide receiver, 23, 24 years old. Unfortunately, in April, took his own life because he succumbed to the pressure of, and now what it looks like some trumped up charges thrown on his name for murder, vehicular murder. So here's my thing when it comes to responsible journalism, Randy. In 2025, obviously, social media is a big thing. Obviously, we use it. But we kind of use it just to promote the show, so you guys tune in, chop it up with us, have conversations. I didn't go to school for journalism. I picked up this podcast thing about 6 years ago, and pretty much anything that I've learned is because just kind of self experience with Jamel. Shout out Jamel Thomas, the creator of I.O.W. And I started as a guest. Now I'm full-fledged, knee deep in it. So I will never call myself a journalist. I don't want to be. I'm a content creator. Just 'cause I love creating conversations about certain things that I love. But what gets me, Randy, is when you got those who actually went to journalism, went to school for journalism, got a degree for journalism, went in debt to be a journalist. All right. And have a full-time job that pays them handsomely to be a journalist. And in today's age, I'm seeing too often is too much of let me report the story and then I'll just apologize or correct myself if I said something wrong. What happened to the good old days, Randy, when people wanted to report the truth instead of just wanting to be first? What happened, man?
Okay, so I'll go into the story of the Kyron Lacy facts, and then I'll go into what is a very strong legal opinion of mine that is going to work into sports today. So,
go ahead.
Kyron Lacy, for those who don't know, college player. He was supposed to be picked up in the draft from LSU as a wide receiver, and he was alleged, he was arrested on causing a car accident that caused the death of a woman through reckless driving, and then speeding away from the accident. After time had gone, after he had been arrested, he eventually took his own life. Now, his defense attorney, maybe 2 weeks ago, give or take, put out a video that he claimed exonerated Kyron Lacy and demonstrated foul play from the police. And in the video, what it shows, so Kyron Lacy has a green Charger, and Kyron Lacy's green Charger was alleged to have been the cause of the accident, but the video shows the accident happening about 70-something yards in front of Kyron Lacy's car, pulling up to the crash after it's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
It also shows a police officer speaking to a witness and in sum and substance saying, make sure you put that you swerved and this accident happened because you were trying to avoid the green Charger, when she was making her witness statement. Later on, the prosecution and the police department put out a full video from a gas station video surveillance camera that showed more of the story, which was the green Charger seemingly speeding. I mean, definitely speeding, but speeding and seemingly causing the cars around it to swerve to avoid it, which leads to an accident that ends up happening in front of him. But they are so it, and it's kind of hard to see what the other cars are doing from the camera. But what I got from it was the car was speeding past a bunch of other cars, and then it stopped, and the other cars that were swerving away from it continued going, and then as a result of their loss of control, the crash happened in front of Kyron Lacey's green Charger. That seems to be what happened from me watching the video. Again, it is a little unclear what the other cars are doing. And then the body-worn camera from the police, which is why it's such a good thing that police now are wearing body-worn cameras, for their benefit and for our benefit, is it shows someone and multiple people, and the first witness that they talked to clearly saying the green Charger caused it. It was the green Charger. They were swerving to avoid the green Charger, along those lines. Now, when I first saw the defense's video of the police officer talking to the woman, it looked really bad. I definitely did bite at it, but I did also think, and we don't really know because more context wasn't released around that, but I thought it was possible that what had happened there was she had given him an authentic statement, and then he was relaying how to make it write it in a way that would be a facially sufficient witness statement, like relaying her statement back to her, and then that was cropped and then put out to the public. And this is a big reason why I think that criminal cases or civil cases that have to do with celebrities and famous people, if it doesn't directly have to do with matters of social matters like a political corruption or police brutality or something along those lines where it's a matter for all of society, if it's just a matter that happens to be with a famous person, probably shouldn't be involved in the public. I think that the way in which, and it's basically unavoidable to some extent, and the defense lawyer is doing what he's doing, and he's stirring the environment to get a favorable perception of his client, well, former client, and that we're legally always entitled to an impartial jury. That can be grounds for just terminating an entire trial and doing a retrial. If you have a jury that was already coming in with bias, jurors aren't even allowed to research anything about a case while they're practicing on the jury. They'll be asked questions in debour, in voir dire, and they'll be let go, like removed from the jury if they know anything about it or have any kind of bias over it or etc. We have a media environment where it's almost impossible for anybody who's of a high profile to have an impartial jury. Either it'll be biased towards them or against them, because that information will be everywhere.
Big facts.
And so many people bought at the original defense presentation, including partially me, with skepticism, but it looked legit. And this is why I think it's really important also for people who don't know all of the facts to recognize they don't know all of the facts and don't make strong opinions of situations they weren't there from that lead into legal bias. I mean, we saw the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation that completely flipped on its head as a perfect example of that.
Yeah, that situation was wild.
Yeah, so people approach everything that gets thrown at you with skepticism, especially if it's in the legal world, and that's just, you don't have that legal or criminal justice or whatever awareness of all of that. Like, it's just important to treat everything with skepticism, whichever side is showing you anything. Do you have any thoughts you want to follow that up with? Because I know I kind of went into my bag on that.
No, it's just so much that happened in such a short amount of time. One thing that I was kind of well, obviously, condolences goes out to the Lacey family and of course the other victims. That was the family of the woman that perished in that situation. So condolences to both families, because they both lost somebody that they truly loved and cared for in this situation. So that's first and foremost. I The timing was odd, for me, when you look at the information that was dropped by Lacey's defense lawyer. This happened in April. Why is this? Did you just stumble upon this in October? And like, I just thought the timing was odd. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously you're more into the knowledgeable about the legal side than I am. I just find that timing was very odd. Like,
no, I totally agree. Yes, I think it was odd. I think it was odd for a couple of reasons. I think it was odd because there was that whole time between him getting arrested and him taking his own life where you probably would have had access to this. I mean,
everything.
Discovery laws are different in different states. I don't know what I don't know what they are in his state, but typically body-worn camera will be turned over to defense like within a time to give the defendant a speedy trial, which would not have been this long normally, unless there's some facts I don't know about. I mean, so you would have known about this probably while he was still your client.
Yeah.
And if anything, that would have been the time to release it. So why you're choosing to do it now is strange. Now, there might be a reason why maybe prosecution didn't turn over the discovery. Maybe whatever laws in that state are more lax when it comes to turning them over, or have a different time frame. In New York, it's one of the more strict discovery jurisdictions. That's what I'm used to. So I don't really know about that, but yes, I do think that it is weird that it was as long as it was, and it was so long after he killed himself. It wasn't even like within a time that, like within the time, like he would have been doing it anyway, and then Kyron Lacey killed himself, and then he still released it on his own. It was months after he'd already killed himself.
If I'm correct, the incident happened like mid-April, and probably like a week and a half later, the unfortunate suicide from Kyron Lacey happened. So I'm like, why? That's the first thing that really came to my mind. It's like, wow, it's October. Like, what the hell were you doing as a defense lawyer in between April and October to come on? And I just thought that was odd for sure. One. But and I think that's why, and I hate to get on my man Ryan Clark. He had a whole dissertation after the defense lawyer dropped his information, and he went on Monday Night Football and said what he said, and then later had to apologize. Just for me, and that's what's really sparking this conversation when it comes to responsible journalism, is have the facts. We're not going to know everything, and there are times we shouldn't know everything. And for especially when even on just our level of content creating, I just feel like it would be a huge disservice not only to your audience but to yourself, is to be reporting information that is not correct. And I just think that sometimes, instead of trying to jump out there and be the first, like as if it's some kind of arms race to have that information out there, it's I don't think that's the case. Have the actual, for me, just have the facts, and then lay it all out. So what? You're not the first in line to do it. I'd rather be correct than first. That's just me.
No, of course. I mean, I totally agree. It's incredibly irresponsible. Like the thing that I want to hammer home is that it's really important for people to not overreact to what they think they know about a particular fact pattern. People's freedom is literally on the line. Like we didn't end up getting a trial, but even if we had gotten a trial, you're getting spins of information. You're only getting stuff that was found or it was discoverable, things may have been not allowed to come into court, and then we never would have known. But that may have actually been a deciding factor in who was right. It's really important to acknowledge that people just don't actually know what happened in situations they weren't there for. And for a layperson like Ryan Clark to take 2 clips and then immediately not wait and just go at it and be like, this is what happened, it's incredibly irresponsible. And it's part of the environment that I'm talking about, where people, let's say Kyron Lacey was still alive and they had gone to trial, and Ryan Clark had been saying this for a while, and other sports broadcasters had been saying this for a while.
Yeah,
that could have been a deciding factor in his criminal case.
Huge. Like you said, had we gotten that, unfortunately, we didn't. It's like, man, I just think you're putting too many people in jeopardy when you start doing things like that. And so again, condolences to the Lacey family and to the victim of the accident. So that's first and foremost, for sure. Another situation. This happened. That situation. When I talk about being responsible journalism, I mean, they jumped out there. Oh, Mark Sanchez, victim of a stabbing. Coming to find out, he's the aggressor. Coming to find out, they got to book that man. Now, when it comes to the actual Mark Sanchez thing, I came upon a quote from his mother of his child. Beautiful woman, by the way. I don't know how the hell Mark Sanchez backed that, but
it's those $1 million contracts.
But I also see why he fumbled it.
Yeah, he butt fumbled it.
I see what you did there. But no, he literally, and as I try to find it, she wasn't surprised of his behavior, of his drunken, orderly, lewd behavior. Wasn't surprised. And to me, that's saying a lot more about him. The fact that he fumbled that beautiful bag, and I don't know her name, so I apologize. And the fact that she wasn't surprised that he has this type of behavior, but also Aqib Talib kind of put me on game. He says, former players go out there and they turn broadcasters. They go out to these cities, with the production crew, and they talk to the team. They go to a practice facility, but that's it. After that practice is done in the mid-afternoon, they got nothing but free time on their hands. And so
this is how he chooses to spend his.
Well, and Aqib Talib, he kept it real. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm not going to talk bad about Mark. It's because I understand. Because I've might have indulged in alcohol a little bit too much when I was covering games and whatnot, and blase. Obviously, I didn't take it to the level that Mark Sanchez did, and I'm paraphrasing what Aqib Talib says, but he says, it leaves the opportunity to get in trouble there because there's a lot of downtime. Look, I just think this is a character thing with Mark Sanchez, and obviously his mother of his child kind of alluded to that that he has kind of character issues, and especially when you got people like Adam Schefter who kind of made it seem like, oh, he's a victim, and again didn't know all the information. He jumped out there, and other outlets jumped out there. Oh, prayers up to Mark. Hope he's all right. Hope he's good. What do you think about this situation, man? Because it was such a crazy, like, in the span of like 5-6 hours where the story went from praying for Mark to, hey man, what's wrong with this motherfucker?
I mean, it's the same sentiments, and especially in this case is there is going to be a trial probably, and I mean, undoubtedly, and the guy who stabbed Mark is going to be a defendant, and his defense is going to be self-defense. So with the media running the way that it is right now, originally you would have had a jury of people who probably would have not bought it, and now you have a jury of people who will buy it. And
good luck finding a jury that isn't tainted by none of this.
Yeah, exactly. And like theoretically, more facts have come out to suggest maybe Mark actually wasn't the aggressor, right? Like right now, that is where the facts that we have available seem to be landing, but we don't. There's still, there's potentially more context. We don't know. But honestly, I don't have that much to add. This was just crazy. Like it's just
it's crazy. No, it really was. But
it got carved up, bro. Like that was crazy.
Hey, what my man Fat Joe said, oh yeah, Sanchez got that ketchup, dog. But a lot of this reminds me, and quick story. I was literally doing a late night show when the news broke of Deshaun Watson situation. And the first thing I said is, whoa, this is breaking news, blase, blase. I related to whoever was watching. But the first thing I said is, let me hold off on my opinion so I can get more facts. And then we saw how that story kind of just snowballed into a whole different situation. It's for those who went to journalism school, for those who take journalism that serious, please, 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 please. All I'm asking for y'all is just make sure you get all the facts. Because it's too many times in 2025, 2024, the last few years that we are just seeing too many journalists apologizing because you jumped the gun and you wanted to, be the first to break the news. It ain't about breaking the news, in my opinion, man. It's about breaking the facts. Facts. What's right, what's wrong. All right. And I think some of you journalists are doing a disservice to your audience and to yourselves by wanting to be reporting and it's wrong. And you didn't even come close to reporting what was right.
Mm-hmm.
You're just getting initial information. There's no way you can have a true story on just based off just the initial information. There's so much that goes into every situation, and especially with athletes, obviously, they're on a different pedestal. They're not going to be like you and me. The only time a situation of us making the front page news is if we did something horrific that was, hey, gotta talk about this. Other than that, we're just another blimp on probably don't even make a middle or even a back page of a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, when you tote the rock, hit a baseball, or you're catching touchdowns on Sunday, that puts you in the spotlight. It puts you on another pedestal, puts you on a different level. And you don't even have to be a Patrick Mahomes to even get your name out there. You just got to be part of that league. And
yeah, you don't even have to be good.
Yeah, no, for real. How many times have we seen stories of backup players, friends, practice squatters still getting in trouble, and it makes headlines.
I mean, we were just talking about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson hasn't been good since the story came out.
Yeah,
and we still talk. He's still famous more for being a sexual predator than for being a football player almost at this point.
Yeah, at this point. So
Mark Sanchez wasn't good. Mark Sanchez's most notable thing was the butt fumble. I know that he made it to the AFC Championship game and like had playoff runs. Like I know, but but the thing we remember is the butt fumble for a reason.
Nah, no doubt. Yeah. It's crazy, man. But let's get on to some more lighter and brighter and more fun things to talk about.
Oh yeah, let's take it to Thursday.
Yeah, Hey, let's kick it off right there. Week 6. What's wrong with the Eagles, man? And obviously, I understand that you're a Giants fan and you were happy that they gave the BTA and gave a beatdown. But what's really going on with Philly? I mean, I don't know about you, but when Zadarius Smith just out of nowhere retired yesterday after he's been asking to get a job, been waiting to get a job, he goes to the Eagles, and you think, oh man, this guy has a chance to win a Super Bowl, and he's like, nah, man, I'm good, I'm out. To me, I think that speaks volumes because I think he's seeing something in the building. He's like, yo, I'd rather just hang it up, bro. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got that same sense, but for me, a guy that was begging for a job. Well, I don't want to say he was begging for a job, but wanting a job, wanting to get signed, and sat on the sideline all the way up to about mid-September, and then all of a sudden he signs with a Super Bowl contender, and you decide a few weeks later, nah, I'm good. There might be correlation. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to me, that speaks volumes. So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we don't necessarily know what it was in his situation, but it does fit the vibe. I've never been a person that reacted very strongly to vibes as a way of like gauging things, but I'm starting to feel more that way recently with the way that football's been working, right? Like the Dolphins were the team that came in with rancid vibes. Like everybody, there was talented players there, but everybody was talking about their vibes. Like their vibes were off.
Mm-hmm.
Giants with Jackson Dart had very positive vibes. They had very negative vibes with Russ, and so that does seem to have been playing a role in their wins. You know, even despite expectations, the Eagles have bad vibes right now. You know, AJ Brown being upset because he's not getting enough targets.
Yeah.
Their fan base, even when they were winning, like they had 4 wins in a row, but they were off. They were all off in some way. Like it was either because of luck, because of a mistake the other team made. It was a crazy comeback or an almost blown lead. They were good in the first half and bad in the second, or vice versa. They won, and they won against good teams, but something always like felt off. And now we're kind of seeing that actually play out. It's very similar to 2 years ago with the Eagles. Do you remember that when they were undefeated?
Yeah.
They may have had 1 loss up until the 49ers game.
Yeah, their first loss was to, if I remember correctly, they lost to the Jets in East Rutherford.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was weird, but then they started winning again and people kind of forgot about it. And then they went against the 49ers, who were the other big NFC team at that time. Yeah. And everyone was like, okay, let's see, is this going to be competitive? Who's the real NFC team? And the 49ers ripped them a new asshole. And basically since then, they couldn't win against anybody. The bad teams were beating them. They fell apart entirely. And then they got absolutely rocked by Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers in the playoffs. They didn't look like they belonged in the playoffs at all. Their record from the first half of the season carried them there. And this looks a lot like that. And so why is that? Well, the offensive coordinator is the thing that most of the Eagles fans are pointing to. They're saying, like, it's because of the offensive coordinating. They're, he's trying to appease AJ Brown by giving him targets instead of doing what worked last year, which was doing a lot of running, which, we've criticized Jalen Hurts before. It says a lot about him that when you're asking him to pass a lot, all of a sudden the offense looks a lot worse. Saquon looks like a shell of himself. In comparison, Cam Skattebo has been significantly outperforming him behind what's a worse offensive line, even at its best.
Yeah.
And so a few things are, the offensive coordinating has definitely been a problem for sure. It hasn't been good.
Yeah. Kevin Patullo's on the hot seat. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah. AJ Brown's attitude has probably not been helping, but I don't think it's the biggest thing. I think it's that the offensive line has still been good, but they lost Mekhi Becton in the offseason. There have been some injuries there. It hasn't been dominant. And I think that the team lives or dies with that offensive line. And if it's not an absolute fortress, they're not good. And I've pointed to, in my Saquon hater manifesto, I pointed to
Saquon hater manifesto is wild.
I've pointed to some key facts. Okay. Eagles, the 2 years before getting Saquon, when they're still in their like dominant offensive line era, they had Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift. Miles Sanders rushed for 1,200 yards behind that offensive line. Then when he went to the Panthers, he rushed for about 400. DeAndre Swift was a Pro Bowler and a top 5 rusher 1 year before Saquon behind that same offensive line. And then he went to the Bears, and the entire city of Chicago wanted him set on fire. Like they wanted him fired out of a cannon. They were done with that man behind a bad offensive line.
Oh, yeah, it was bad though.
Saquon rushed behind the best offensive line in the NFL by far, a historically dominant offensive line. Lane Johnson led the NFL in run block wins last year. And now, where their offensive line is still very good, not to the point where they should be using it as an excuse, but it's not the clear best offensive line in the NFL right now. Now, Saquon looks about as good as he did on average for the Giants,
he's struggling.
Yeah, which was, still a good player. He had his moments of being great with us, and then he had moments where he looks like this. Where it's like, not horrible, but not what you expect.
Not after last year. Not to cut you off. When you do what you did last year, and to be fair, shout out to my man Chris Dow. He made up a great point early on the Airhead Cheap podcast. They struggled with the passing game last year, but a lot of it got masked because Saquon was having like a historic season.
Yes.
So what's
exactly? Yeah, and I think that's a really under talked about part of why he had such a historic season, and also the fact that they had the least passing attempts of any team in the NFL. They absolutely masked Jalen Hurts' weakness, which is passing, and they just had him and Saquon run, and that worked. Also, they had the best defense in the NFL last year. Now they don't.
Shout out, man.
Yeah. Even in week 1, their defense, we had talked about it when they played against the Cowboys. Like, Dak really lit up their defense.
They should have lost that game.
Yeah, they should. If CD had caught any one of those 3 passes he dropped, they would have won that game. And that was already a sign of a problem there. Yeah. The defense did not look as good as it did, despite the talent on it. And I know that they're going to bitch and cry because they didn't have Jalen Carter and they didn't have Quinyon Mitchell. And I get it, those significant injuries.
Yeah.
But a rookie quarterback in his 3rd NFL regular season start, carved you up with a rookie running back.
Cooked you.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
Man.
Jalen Hyatt. And off of the practice squad, little Jordan Humphrey. I don't want to hear it. And a worse offensive line than you had. So I really don't want to hear it. Well, so that's a big part of it. But the biggest part of it is Jalen Hurts. The biggest part of it is Jalen Hurts. He's not that good at quarterback. He's a fine game manager. He's Brock Purdy, basically. He's a fine game manager if you give him stuff to work with. But if your defense is giving up so much points that he has to play more aggressively as a passer to make up for it, he can't do that. If he doesn't have Saquon to use as a dual threat scheming option to force defenders to pay attention to Saquon. Hurts can't take advantage in the way that he was able to last year. If he doesn't have a dominant offensive line, he will make mistakes. I mean, the interception he threw to Cordell Flott, and also, by the way, I want Cordell Flott to be CB2. I've been saying this. He's been performing better than Deonte Banks. I get that we used a first-round pick on Deonte Banks. Yes. Cordell Flott has been better in pass coverage. I think that he's been very underrated, and
he ran that route for
fewer
Devontae.
chances.
He ran that route for Devontae. He ran better than Devontae, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he did.
Now I hear everything that you're saying about Jalen Hurts, and here's my thing about Jalen Hurts. And here's what scares me about quarterbacks that went to Alabama or Ohio State. Here's what scares me about them. You're going to be part of a very highly talented squad. All right. You're going to have all Americans all around you. All right. And it's almost and I'm just playing devil's advocate right now. Because when you have those guys that are playing at Alabama or Ohio State, especially quarterbacks, everything's plush. You got all 5 of your starters on offensive line, all Americans. All right. You're throwing to all Americans on the outside on both sides. All right. You got an all American running back. All right. Then you go over to your defensive side. You got a whole defensive line that's going to go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. Then you got corners who's going to go in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. You got safeties going to go in the first 3 rounds. So you got nothing but talent surrounding you when you go to, those higher profile universities and you're a quarterback. And so a lot of things are made easy for you. And, almost to a same fault, too, is kind of falling to the same thing with Jalen Hurts. And I'm not saying they're not talented. And that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that sometimes when you have all that talent around you, it makes it so plus for you, but you can't translate that to the NFL because not all your guys are going to be Pro Bowlers. They're not all going to be Pro Bowlers. So there are going to be some times where you have to make the play. Now, I'm kind of indifferent on Jalen Hurts. I actually think he's a top quarterback. Yes.
Top what?
I would go 7. I go top 7.
Okay.
And that's just me. But because I understand what he is asked to not do and what he is asked to do. And I understand that. And maybe there might be a disconnect with Kevin Patullo, the OC. I don't know what he's asking Jalen Hurts to do. I have seen Jalen make the throws when he's asked to, but I've also seen what he did last Thursday when he missed Devontae Smith wide open.
Yeah.
So
he's had good passing days, right?
Yeah.
But it's the consistency that's not there.
And that's where I'm kind of torn when it comes to Jalen Hurts, because it's like when he has all this talent around him, how much are you asking him specifically to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you got
least in the NFL. He had the least passing attempts in the NFL last year.
Well, yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, Saquon had a hell of a season last year. When it works, why go away from it? I understand,
sure.
But when it comes down to it, I saw him, and you know me, I'm a Chiefs fan. I thought he outperformed Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and he definitely outperformed him in the last one because we saw what happened.
Yeah, they had a left tackle.
Yeah. Hey, man. Look, I'm just saying. I saw what I saw.
I'm making excuses on your team's behalf, but
hey, context. I hear you. Context.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's and that's just kind of and so when I and I'm not speaking of specifically about you, but there's a lot of people out here that really think that Jalen Hurts is just a bum, and there's times where he does some things where I'm like, all right, you might have a case. But then there's times where I'm like, hey, I think it still takes a special talent to manage a roster like the Eagles when you got talent everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can just – I think it's easy for us to say, oh, man, I could plug any quarterback in that Eagles roster and they'll probably come up with the same result. And
Tanner McKee almost kind of made that point in the
So I don't. I just think that it takes a lot more to manage a lot of talent. Like reason why I think. So, for instance, I know it's kind of off subject, but the reason why I think Phil Jackson is the greatest coach of all time because it takes a special person to manage the rosters that he had. It takes a special person to walk away with 10 championships with the rosters that he was coaching. I don't think you just insert any coach on a bench with the 2000, 2001, 2002 Lakers. I don't think you just put anybody on that bench. I don't think you just put anybody in that coaching position for the 90s Bulls. I don't think that you can just do that. I think you got to have somebody that can still manage not only the X's and O's, but egos.
Yeah, I mean, he got more out of Shaq than any of the coaches Shaq had before or after.
Yeah.
Like,
So
he got him into shape. He got an MVP year out of him.
And so for me, I think I guess I'm giving more credit to Jalen is the mental. It's because I think that he's not going to be quick to buy into the bull. He probably saw what AJ said. Oh, it wasn't no meeting. He probably like, all right, whatever, bro.
Okay. I don't disagree with everything you said. I think that Jalen Hurts is not. I do not think he's a bad quarterback, and I'll make that clear. I do not think that he should be a backup in the league.
Worst in the league, trust. A lot worse in this league. So.
Yes. No. I don't think that he should be a backup in the NFL. I don't think they'd be better off with a backup quarterback. I mean, we've seen them with like Gardner Minshew or like whoever else. And it is obviously different, right? Like it's not as good. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I would put him somewhere in the top 10. Where in the top 10, I'm not really sure. Definitely the bottom half of the top 10, but I'm not 100% sure where. It's just if you do think about it, the conversation is almost the exact same with Brock Purdy. Wherever you rank Brock Purdy is about where you should rank Jalen Hurts, give or take, because they are very similar. Not necessarily in play style, but in strengths and weaknesses. Obviously Hurts is a rusher, Purdy's not as much, but like you get what I'm saying. Like the comparisons, like you fit them into a good system, they work there. I think that if you took Jalen Hurts and you swapped him with Joe Burrow and put him on the Bengals, that team would fall apart because he would have to be everything there. Like it would be entirely based off his passing game with the only two other good players, both being pass catchers. And Trey Hendrickson, but like on offense. I don't think that he could do that. I don't think that he could run the Bills offense. I don't think that with just James Cook and otherwise
that'd be tough.
Khalil Shakir in them, I don't think that he'd be able to do that. Even if the offensive line is good. So but if you took Joe Burrow or Josh Allen and put them in the Eagles system, they'd be a dynasty. It's just a matter of he has strengths. He's a good rusher. He's smart. He knows when to play conservatively. He has good field IQ, but he is not a very good passer. His completion percentage for passes over 10 yards this season is like in the 30s, which is really bad.
It's not good.
Yeah. I mean, he's shown basically he can be quite literally, and I know it's mostly used as a pejorative, but it's not inherently a terrible thing. He's a game manager. He's good at managing a game, but he cannot be a hero. He's not going to save you. And that's just where he's at. And right now the team is in a position where the defense isn't elite anymore. Saquon's not elite anymore. The offensive line isn't elite anymore. AJ Brown is bitching and crying, and he would have to be the hero to make it work, and he can't do that.
Yeah, the good thing for the Eagles is it's only we're going into week 7, so they still got time to fix it. If they 4-2 now.
It'll help when he doesn't have Brian Burns all up on his ass like he did on Thursday,
Yeah. Let's go around the league. Are you sold on the Patriots yet?
No, but I think that they were going to make the playoffs, and I think that they're a solid team. But I do have any team can beat any team once. I think that people are overreacting to the fact that, and he did have a very good game.
He did.
He did have a very good game. You can't take that away from that, and he beat like a real serious team. We did see that real serious team lose again. So how much of it is the Bills versus how much of it's the Patriots? The Bills have been having a bunch of turnovers in the past 2 games. How much of it was the Patriots is kind of hard to say. I think that Drake May is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's an MVP candidate or anything yet. What?
No. I'm not going that far with him, but I will say that there's been a couple of throws over against Buffalo and against New Orleans. I'm like,
yeah, he's got a lot of talent. He's a good quarterback. He's got a lot of talent. I like Mike Vrabel as a coach for the most part. I am absolutely baffled by the decision to keep Ramondre Stevenson out there when they used the 2nd round pick on Travion Henderson, and Stevenson's leading the NFL in fumbles. So that coaching decision in and of itself is a bit of a head scratcher, but he has turned the team around, and he has taken what was the most untalented roster in the NFL, or like maybe one of 2 last year, and gotten it to a pretty good position. Stephon Diggs had his breakout game in that game, probably motivated out of spite, like Rico Dowdle.
He said it. He was like, "Oh, I was motivated as hell. I wanted to come in here and kill these boys," and he did.
He did. It was by far he was being outperformed by Douglas, Booty, and Kyle Williams before that, and then he came out and immediately looked like an elite receiver again. That's what spite will do to you.
Because he was showing out in Buffalo.
Yeah,
that game, I was like, "Oh, Stephon Diggs is in this bag tonight. He really want to hurt y'all."
mm-hmm. So I think they had a great game, but I'm not sold on them yet. They have a cupcake schedule, and they should make the playoffs. Whether they'll win a playoff game is a whole other story. I still don't think the roster is that talented, and I think that's my biggest reason for not believing in it.
Okay.
Like,
that's fair.
Receiving room, if Stephon Diggs is back to that Stephon Diggs, then that's going to be a big deal. I don't know if I buy that, and outside of him, there's not much. The running back game is still horrendous, and if Travion Henderson is somehow worse than Stevenson has been, that's not going to be helpful. The tackle duo has been good, and the offensive line has been better, but I wouldn't say the offensive line is good yet. And the defense has been solid, but it feels like a very middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
It feels like a team that got a really good win against the Bills. But outside of that, I mean, look at the other teams that they beat. Like, they beat up on the Panthers, and people were saying that was a big deal. I think they're a middle of the pack team with a good emerging quarterback that they're going to need to build around. Maybe a year or 2, they'll be a serious threat, but I don't buy them with this current roster yet.
That's fair. Me and the homie Cristal said the same thing. Get them a couple more pieces. I don't think Buffalo is going to be just running through that East no more. They're on the up. You're on the they're on the up and up. I'm not ready to go all in on the Patriots quite yet, but I can kind of see the makings of a team that might you don't want to be messing with in the next 2-3 years. That they might be a little bit different, especially if they let Vrabel cook and let him do what he needs to do.
Also, the other team that beat the Bills that you doubted me on. You doubted me. You didn't believe.
It's because I don't know what they're gonna be. 1 week they're over here getting blanked by the damn Panthers. All right. And then next thing you know, they over here making what was quote unquote one of the better teams in the league looking like some chumps. And by the way, I gotta give their defense some credit. The Falcons defense, they put the pressure on that boy Josh Allen last night.
Yes, they did.
And it kind of speaks to a couple of things of the kind of concerns that I've had with the Buffalo Bills. Their defense didn't look too good. Look, I get it. They allowed a career night for both Drake London and Bijan last night. And so that's never good. But I will give them some grace. They made their adjustments at halftime and only allowed a field goal second half. And they did give not only this game in Atlanta last night, but last week against the Patriots, they did enough to give Josh Allen in the offense opportunities to get back in the game. I'm looking more at Josh Allen. I look, Bills Mafia may not agree with me, and I don't give a damn. Other football fans might not agree with me. I don't give a damn. If you're looking at the game, especially these last two games, Josh Allen is turning the ball over as if he was transitioning back to his rookie season.
Yep.
This guy doesn't look like an MVP the last two games. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah. No, he hasn't. Even in some of his wins, like they were way closer than they should have been. Like the interception he threw to the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could have blown that game against the Saints, and then we'd be having a whole nother conversation.
Man.
But yeah, Falcons looking really nice. I still believe, but that's the thing, like with the Panthers game, there have been a lot of weird underdog blips that happened this year. But I don't excuse, maybe they all had a tummy ache. I don't know, but maybe they all just had a bad day. But if you subtract that one game, this is a really good year. They had a really competitive shootout with the team that has the best record in the NFL now, at the strongest they'd been up to this point. Then they demolished the Vikings.
Yeah, they did.
And then subtract week 3. And then you
oh no, that shit happened, dog.
I'm just saying, right? Like let's for thought experiment's sake, like week 4 they had who did they beat? They beat someone in week 4. They had a bye in week 5.
They beat Commanders, and that was Marcus Mariota instead of Jayden Daniels.
Okay, but they beat the Commanders, and then bye week, and then they just beat the Bills. Yeah, pretty decisively as well.
Oh yeah.
So, whatever we think happened with the Panthers game, they never looked like that before or after.
Oh. Which is why I was shocked, because they gave the Buccaneers, obviously the other division opponent, they gave them a nice run on that week 1. And so I'm like, okay, well, as long as they, I could respect a close loss. And you had a chance to win it. And then you can chalk it down to, a play here, a play there that might swing the tilt. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But just the way that, like, come on, man, you got 30 to nothing. But that's what's really killing me about trying to go all in with the Falcons, because I'm like, man, I've seen this before. I've seen this with them. I fell to the trick last year, because there was a point in time where they were looking good, then all of a sudden the floor dropped on Kirk, and then it was too late before they tried to insert Michael Penix, and then it was like, all right, well, this season's lost. So, and then you kind of saw the mixed bag of this year. What's up, Crafty Southpaw, man? Thanks for tuning in, man. This year feels like a transitional year. Lots of young teams on the way up: Pats, Falcons, Panthers. While top teams of yesteryear are on the way down: Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, Dallas. You might want to take the Chiefs out of there, because the Chiefs never went nowhere.
And you forgot the youngest, most of the way up team.
The Giants.
The Giants, a rookie quarterback that looks great, who's playing well without Malik Neighbors.
Hey,
Cam Scatteraboo looks great. Young greatness right there for sure. Andrew Thomas is having a comeback year.
Andrew Thomas has been playing well.
Yeah, that defensive line's been phenomenal. Brian Burns, we're going to talk about award candidates, easy DPOY favorite for me.
Monster.
Mm-hmm.
And look, to take the heat off of you for making it sound like a homer. I'm just going to be honest. All right. When you got that kind of energy that they had on Thursday, you can build off of that. Now, what they can't do is what they did when they beat the Chargers is dump an egg against the Saints. You can't do that. You can't follow a high win with a terrible ass loss. That performance in New Orleans was dreadful.
It was. However, what I will say is wins and losses don't always mean that the one that won was better than the one that lost. Like, of course, things happen, context happen. That was, to me, an example of a lot of mistakes on the Giants' end.
A lot of mistakes.
Being beaten by a superior team.
Fair.
If you don't have 5 straight turnovers, you don't lose that game. And a lot of those turnovers were just stupid. Like Jackson Dart fumbling without even being touched. Like, that's not something that you can expect is going to continue to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, something like that is such like a hard to predict kind of random thing. Like Cam Scadaboo not running to the sideline, instead running his head into more defenders to not let the clock stop because he just wants to ram his head into people. Like things like that can get cleaned up, right? Like they were dominant in the first half and then they gave the game away.
Yeah.
So I'm, as much as I hated it, I'm not worried that that's a reflection of that's what that team is, if that makes sense.
No,
right? The same thing with like you. It was like, well, the Chiefs, like, well, okay, they look like this like really conservative check down team, but that's because we don't have our receivers, and we don't have a left tackle. When we get all of that, which we have on the roster, and they're coming back soon, we're not going to look like that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's easy to project positively if you can look at it and be like, this is something within our control that caused this.
Fair. Citizens of London, we owe y'all a huge apology that y'all had to bear witness to that bullshit of Jets and Broncos. That was I couldn't watch it. I was like, oh, I woke up early for this shit. I said, I'm going back to bed, man.
Yeah, no, that was rough. And people also are giving me a lot of shit because I still don't fully believe in the Broncos, even though they have a good record. And like,
no, Randy, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, Bo Nix has looked pretty bad for a significant amount of this season.
Very inconsistent this year.
The defense
sacked them. No,
the defense sacked Justin Fields 9 times and forced them to negative passing yards, and they still barely won that game.
I mean,
that's sketch.
I don't know why
against a winless team.
I don't know why people are giving you grief about not believing in the Broncos yet.
Giving me grief for not believing.
Well, you're justified in not Bo leaving because Bo don't know. All right, Bo don't know yet. And what's weird for me is, and this is what really why I've never been a fan of Sean Payton. For him to go out there and verbally chastise and verbally abuse Russell Wilson on the sideline publicly, but yet this is now 2 years in a row where I've seen Bo Nix literally undress you on the sideline, and you just sit there and take it. Yeah, that was kind of odd.
Yeah, that is surprising because it's not like that's not really reflective of Sean Payton, right? Like Sean Payton's personality is not the guy who gets pushed around by his players. If anything, it's been mostly the opposite. It's been his reputation. Like he's too much of a dick to his players, like with Russ.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bo, what has Bo done to even warrant that he's thought that he was able to even do that? He did it his rookie season, where he was over there talking back to Sean, and he did it again earlier this season. And then when I look at your play, I'm like, the first thing that you should do is shut the hell up.
Yeah, you need to get back in the gym, man. Like you gotta, and like also, this is a very similar conversation that I had with Jordan Love. which is Jordan Love's first year as a starter with the Packers. He looked pretty bad for most of his first half of his first season, and then he had a really good second half. And then I was like, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's really good now, because we don't have enough of a sample size to say that. Trevor Lawrence, same deal. Bad first year entirely, garbage first year, garbage first half of second year. Then he came around, and then they both had the playoff, made the playoffs and had the playoff game. When Bo Nix looked very similar, bad first half, good second half. Now, in all of those cases, Trevor Lawrence stayed inconsistent. Maybe he's having his best year since then now. Jordan Love kind of also stayed to some degree inconsistent. Bo Nix is basically still in that world right now. Like, Bo Nix also looks inconsistent still. It doesn't look like he had a progression that's now linear. Like, it looks like he had some good games and some bad games, and he's still having those.
And that's the thing when you have just watching his performance is we got a lot of that like you said, a lot of that last year when we were so inconsistent. So it's like, right now the only thing I can judge you all is that he's been consistent at being inconsistent, and you're going to be wasting a Super Bowl caliber defense. That defense is legit.
Yeah.
All right, that defense is absolutely legit. And
they might set the NFL history record for most sacks in a season.
And it's
the fact that team's not more competitive, like, is pretty indicative of Bo, and not just Bo, right? Like, their weapons group, I never thought was good. Their running back situation's not good still. So it's the offense as a whole, but with an offensive line like that, you get a little less leeway.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Crafty Southpaw. They kind of have been shooting themselves on the foot, but I would particularly look towards the offensive side that's really been shooting themselves in the foot, where there's costly penalties at the wrong time. There's even been times where late in the game situation, Bo has either made a bad pass or a bad interception, bad turnover. And so that's just kind of like, I really don't like, at some point in time, you're going to have to need that offense to kick it in gear. I don't know where even when they played Cincinnati on that primetime game, Cincinnati was hanging around because Bo couldn't close the door on them.
Would you consider that hanging around? I feel like that's a little generous to Cincinnati, but I get your point. I mean, special teams also gave up a game for them with a penalty. The Colts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With leverage.
I'm with you on the Broncos when it comes where, like, I need to see it more from the offense to get it in gear. So I when you said that, I'm like, nope, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I don't feel bad. Absolutely not.
Damn the haters over there trying to give you flack. I'm like, and I think that's when sometimes when people just look at a record or look at a stat sheet, oh yeah, they're 4-2. Look, and this is not me being a homer. I still feel the same way about the Jaguars, even though they beat the team I root for. I still think they're a little bit fraudulent. All right. I think they're still a little bit fraudulent. And it shows as Seattle went into their building and their defense dominated. Right. And so look, I also chalk that loss up to, I think that the Chiefs made just too many damn mistakes and played sloppy. So they, to one of your takes earlier, I don't think that the Jaguars nearly went out there and took that game. That was more like the Chiefs did everything in their power to give you the game.
Exactly. Right. And to the Jaguars' credit, they still played well. Devin Lloyd with the pick six.
Oh, Devin Lloyd, that was a great play.
Trevor Lawrence with that touchdown at the end. But the touchdown at the end, I think, is a really good example of that, because almost like a competent defense could have gotten that sack.
He failed twice.
Yes. The fact that he managed to still rush into the end zone, that's a defense failing, not like an insane offensive play.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I agree with you there.
That was a little shaky. last topic, and then we'll get to our third season awards to close out the show.
Yep.
I talked about Tua last night in his press conference, looking for leadership and all that other shit. I just found it odd that he was talking about we need leadership, we're looking for leadership, this and that, people late to meetings, player only meetings. I didn't like the way all that situation went down, him saying all that stuff, because first of all, I do believe there are some things you keep in-house. That probably would have been one of them. And two, you're talking about we're looking and needing leadership. Well, why don't you go lead by example? And what I mean from Tua to lead by example, stop throwing these stupid boneheaded interceptions. There's three games that I've watched from the Dolphins that he throws some stupid ass passes at the end of the game and it's costing them the game. And I'm looking at him at this press conference and I'm like, we'll start with you. Look in the mirror, Tua. So what was your take after he opened his mouth at that press conference? I got a new nickname for him. Tua run the teammate over. That's
yeah, no, I mean, I more or less it's like the quarterback getting out there and saying that we don't have leadership, we need leadership. Is like, bro, that's you. Like, what do you mean?
Who else are you looking for?
Yeah, bro, like you're the beer thief. Like you're you're the guy in the hot dog costume in that meme. It's just like we're gonna find the one who did this. Like, but that's you, bro.
Yeah.
And like yeah.
McDaniels will be gone before Tua will. Crafty.
Yes. McDaniel also, right? Like he also deserves blame for that as the head coach.
Oh yeah,
their job's the leader,
without a doubt. What kind of coach are you building down there?
For sure. But if you took imagine Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes or any of those kind of quarterbacks saying like we need leadership. Like if they're having like a bad year, which all of them have, by the way. They've all had bad periods. They've had bad years. They've had times where things have not been going well. None of them would get up and say, we need leadership, because everybody knows they're the leaders of their teams, right? Like even when things aren't well, people usually aren't like, well, that's your fault individually, because they are doing their part almost always. Even when they lose, they're doing their part. Tua getting up there and saying, and also the thing from earlier in the season where he was like, I can't do all the stuff Josh Allen can do. It was just like, bro, like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you telling us all this?
Some do, but okay.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you have any confidence in yourself? Like that's your job, man. Like they pay him almost the same amount that the Bills pay Josh Allen. It's like, why? If you don't want to be a leader. This is what I was saying. Like it's all just rancid vibes over there. Like nobody has any control of anything. And Tua needs to stop doing interviews, man. Like he's starting to become like the Will and Jada of the NFL. Like just stop talking.
Hey, yo.
Not every thought that you have needs to get to us, man.
And it does. Well, he's not good at I don't say that. I don't think he's good at public speaking, and neither is Mike McDaniel. He needs to stop talking too. It's like every time he talks at I'm like, yeah, why are you still that coach at that team? Why? So I don't know. But let's get to these third of the season awards. Who would be your coach of the year right now?
Okay. So for each of these categories, I have 5 names. And then what we can do is you'll tell me if you agree with those 5 names or not, and then we'll decide the winner. Sound good?
I got you.
All right. So for coach of the year, I have as my 5 main candidates, I have Dan Campbell, Shane Steichen, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDonald, and Liam Cohen.
I can rock with all 5 of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I got no beef with any one of those. If I was to give you a winner, I'd probably roll with Shane Steichen.
I would agree with that. No, actually, okay. I would go the strongest for me for Kyle Shanahan. Shane Steichen would probably be second. And I think that losing almost all of your main players, losing your quarterback and having to replace him with Mac Jones, losing George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Nick Bosa, now Fred Warner, and still having a 4-2 record.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair take. Because
and a bunch of rookies making up for all the people you lost in the offseason.
Yeah. I joked about it on Friday night with Bobby G of the Audible podcast that we do on Friday. Kyle Shanahan is playing MacGyver right now. He's got all kind of duct tape and gorilla glue on that team, and somehow they're still 4-2. But you know what? I will also give him that credit is because this is almost like a yearly thing with him. Because the 49ers are often injured every year. And he still manages to, get the best out whoever is available. Now, here's the thing. You can get away with, no Kittle and some wide receivers, and I understand that. Now, Fred Warner, on the other hand, I don't know.
Bosa and Warner.
Bosa and Warner. All right. Okay. So here's the thing with Bosa. We've seen Bosa hurt before. I think they were able to adjust to that one because they're like, we've been without this guy before.
Sure.
But Fred Warner, who's only missed one game leading up to that game this past Sunday.
Yeah.
And the impact that he does, like it was almost instant the moment that he was out that game and you saw that the defense just couldn't get aligned right. It was instant. It was almost similar to when remember when we were watching the Monday night game, Andrew Thomas was playing really well, and then they set him out for the rest of the game, and it was almost like instant. You're like, oh.
Yep. It
was almost the same effect where like Fred Warner went down on their injury and the defense they forgot how to play defense. And so this one now leading up to what happens after week 7 and so far on, I don't know. If he's able to still get this team still relatively above 500 and close to a wild card even, I can see go ahead and give him a coach of the year because that's going to take a masterful coaching job to get the San Francisco to that position.
Yeah, I mean, also he basically proved to the world, you guys were right about Brock Purdy. You guys were right about Brock Purdy. I can more or less just take any piece of clay and make them work well as a quarterback. Because Mac Jones has arguably been better than Brock Purdy this year.
I was ready to give up on Mac Jones. Obviously, he didn't work out in New England. He goes down to Jacksonville. I'm like, that's not going to work. And it's almost similar to, I don't want to say Sam Darnold, but almost. He gets around some good coaching like Kyle Shanahan, and I'm like, wait, this is the same Mac Jones? Oh.
Yeah, it's the Kyle Shanahan effect. It's the reason why quarterbacks who work for him aren't given credit for being good quarterbacks. You know, you're a good coach when people look at your quarterbacks and be like, okay, but what would they look like if they were with anyone that's not you?
Facts.
But Shane Steichen also, I feel like from the narrative perspective, he probably is the favorite. With the Daniel Jones revival, I think what this does show is that people do believe that it's not Daniel Jones that the Giants were holding back. It's Shane Steichen just being a great coach.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, undoubtedly, he deserves it. But honorable mentions, I saw the comment, I did think about Mike Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, it's that Ramondre Stevenson decision that is holding me back from making that leap. He's leading the NFL in fumbles. Why is he still there? Mm. And also another honorable mention, Ben Johnson, who I only didn't include because their record's only 3-2 right now, and the other ones are higher. But he's on his way. I think because he was my prediction going into the year, and I think not with more games and the trajectory they're going into, like I think he's on his way to making a case for it.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? You agree?
I don't hate that take at all. I just think he's gotten the most out of his players so far.
Yep.
And to my dismay, I look, and I'm glad you actually brought that up because I meant to give Caleb Williams his flowers on that performance last night. It wasn't all pretty, but down the stretch, when he needed to make the plays, he made them. And you know me, I haven't been the biggest fan of Caleb Williams, but I'm glad you brought it because I'm like, damn, I forgot to even mention that Caleb Williams actually had a solid, damn good game on primetime last. And honestly, had that been the Caleb Williams of last year, they would have lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
They would have lost that game.
That was the O-line of last year too.
Oh yeah, yeah. If it was the O-line of last year,
it was the DeAndre Swift of last year, right? Like all of those things have improved significantly. So I still have faith that my prediction might land there. But all right. So what's the next award you want to go to? Because I also have one special award, but I could save that.
Obviously, there's Coach of the Year. There's I.O.W, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think Offensive Rookie of the Year, I know he just got the injury, but we're just talking about the first third of the season. Is easily Emeka Egbuka. So I don't even think we need to really conversate on that one.
Yes. My five here are Emeka Egbuka, Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren, Cam Scatabo, and Bill. I left Marion Hampton out because he's missing a month, and he's not going to have the volume to compete with any of those guys at that point. Jackson Dart missed 3 games to start, so
yeah,
I think that he's on his way to getting there. I think by the end of the year, he could make that case if the Giants look as good as they have looked. But he can't earn it for the time period we have access to. So right now it's Emeka Egbuka. I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, I will also say I'm glad you put Ty Warren in there. He's been killing it not only as a receiving tight end, but have you been seeing the blocks he's been throwing? He's been getting his nose in there and been smacking some defenders upside their head, man, when it comes to his blocks. So, yeah, man, some good rookies for sure. But I think if we're just basing off the first 6 weeks, it's Emeka Egbuka, not even close. So
it is interesting. I don't know if there's any reason for this. May just be a weird coincidence, but we've had 3 years in a row where a rookie tight end came in and put up historical numbers for a rookie tight end. There was Sam Laporta, and then there was Brock Bowers
last year,
and now him. I don't know if what that is just has to go with the competition for the tight end position. These are all premier tight end picks, but I don't know. Do you think there's a reason for that?
I will. I'm just going based off of the fact that you're talking about Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, and Ty Warren, 3 very talented tight ends, and they're mismatches. They're too big for safeties and corners, and they're too fast for linebackers. And when you got that kind of athleticism from all 3 of those guys, it makes it hard. I mean, we just saw that catch that Sam Laporta made Sunday night. That was ridiculous.
Yes.
Had a safe draped all over him and came down and tap back in the end zone. Like, I had to tweet that. I said, "Oh my goodness, damn, Sam Laporta."
I also think that what might be contributing to it is the shift towards tight ends. Tight ends didn't always get drafted as high as Brock Bowers and Tyler Warren got drafted. So that, just by the emphasis or the how good they've been or whatever, like, might have contributed to that. But also now that tight ends are being used much more as just straight up receivers than they ever have in the NFL, that might be contributing to them having higher numbers as well.
They're big. They're just at this point, some of these offensive coordinators are being smart and saying, "Hey, let's get the mismatch and put them out wide, put them in the slot.
Yep.
Let's not just stand them like old school football and just put them at the end of a tackle and expect them to be just a blocker." So to be fair to your point, your bigger point, I just think the evolution of offensive coordinators being smart and finally realizing that, hey, I got the mismatch with a guys that's 6'6", 245 and can run a 4.5. I got an advantage, so let's just use it. So,
right, like Brock Bowers was played in the slot, like as basically a slot receiver. Now you're taking a big body like that and putting him against slot corners who are on average smaller than regular corners.
Man, you lucky to have a slot corner at the size of 6 foot. And that's rare.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just think that the OCs are just getting smarter and trying to find that mismatch, which they should have done that a long time ago. And you kind of seen sprinkles of that before. Obviously, Jeremy Shockey going back to his Giants days.
Yes.
Even Travis Kelce in Kansas,
right? Who's been almost always like receiver priority.
Yeah. Obviously Brock Bowers, even Darren Waller to a certain effect. Was kind of used as a pseudo wide receiver and smart, find a mismatch. Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, Emeka Egbuka is definitely the favorite right now, but Cam Scadaboo or Jackson Dart can eclipse him. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
My 5 names: Abdul Carter, of course, Carson Schwessinger,
Cleveland. I like him.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell. Xavier Watts, and Will Johnson. I haven't watched a lot of Will Johnson tape, obviously. Like, I'm going by PFF for that one. He's gotten like the second best cornerback coverage grade of like any quarterback in the NFL from them. So I gave him the last spot mainly because of that. But he's been really good for them, apparently.
To be honest, Schwessinger, I kind of like Schwessinger from Cleveland, man. The guy's a headhunter, and he's been rocking, dog. But I also don't want to fall victim to the fact that he's sitting there with Myles Garrett in front of him. That's causing havoc. It makes it a lot of things a lot easier for him. He just has to pretty much play cleanup. But I'm not trying to take nothing away from him. I think he's pretty damn good. But oh man, this was a toss up. Which way would you lean?
Abdul Carter and. I'm not being a homer. The stats go to that. He's still currently the Las Vegas favorite. And he, between his combination of sacks, pressures, and QB hits, I mean, like, he's pretty high up on the QB hit chart. He had I think either the field goal or the punt deflection in week 1. He's been a monster with that Giants defensive line, and he's been statistically the best rookie defensive lineman up until this point. So I'm going with Abdul Carter. He also plays inside and outside. He plays Carson's position and he plays edge. Like, he's been basically being used the same way Micah Parsons was used, and he's been doing that to great effect. So Abdul Carter.
I got no beef with it. I think all your candidates have made their impact. If you ask me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just think that all your nominees for the Defensive Rookie of the Year have played very well in the first 6 weeks. So,
are you going with Carson Schwessinger then?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Carson Schwessinger because he gives me an old school linebacker feel, man, and I love it. Almost like like how Scotty Boo gives me that old Mike Allstott feel. So I enjoy. Look, my picks is a little bit nostalgic. I understand what Schwessinger is doing, and I understand the defensive team that he's on. Too bad they're getting wasted by that trash offense. Because that's a damn good defense. I'm not saying that the Browns would be one of the elite teams in the league. No, I'm not saying that at all. But help them. Come on, offense. Look. Kevin Stefanski is going to be on his way out, and I meant to bring up that clip when we did our coaches who are on the hot seat because you called that Brian Callahan one. You called that one. So.
Yeah. So he did not last long. I remember you being like, already? I'd be like, yeah, already.
Yeah, and then when I looked at it, I was like, oh, so this man has coached 23 games in 4-19? Yeah, it wasn't going to get no better, no matter what you did this year.
The only game they won, the other team gave them.
Oh my God, they had no business even winning that game.
They had to give it to them multiple times. Like they made like 3 different really dumb mistakes to actively give the Titans the win there.
Randy, that actually speaks more about the Cardinals than the Titans.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, offensive player of the year. I have a bunch of honorable mentions for this, but I'll just give the 5 players, and then we'll talk about it and maybe see if you think one of them should have been swapped with anyone that I mentioned. Puka Nacua, JSN,
Ballin,
Jonathan Taylor,
Ballin,
John Robinson, and CMC.
Give me your honorable mentions real quick.
James Cook, Justin Jefferson, credit for producing with ass quarterback play, 3rd in yards per game with that quarterback room. Same with Jamar Chase. Now he's, I think, 3rd in total yards, despite Jake Browning and Joe Flacco.
He's been balling lately.
Yeah, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who up until he tied for it this past week was the leader in receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, you definitely can't take Puka out for the first 6 weeks. You definitely can't take Jonathan Taylor out. I was gonna say swap out CMC for James Cook. And the only reason why I say that is because when you see that James Cook doesn't get the carries in Buffalo, you see what happened Monday night. At this point, I think James Cook should get no less than 25 carries a game.
Yeah. I think that's fair. That was the big part of the recipe last year, and that stopped Allen from throwing all those turnovers.
So yeah, man. You know what? I think you can leave CMC in there because I also got to give him credit for still producing when everybody is just falling down around him. And
that was a big part of my decision there. And also, he's, I think, top 10 in both rushing and receiving yards, which is pretty crazy. Him and Bijan are the only 2.
Kyle's about to use him as a slot receiver. And as he should, because he's actually a legit route running running back. He can route you up. I've seen it many times, even back to when he was at Stanford. CMC will route you up. And so no, you know what? Leave your 5 nominees in there. Now who I would pick? Now that's the hard one right there, because you can make a case for all 5 of those gentlemen.
Yeah, it's a pretty competitive field. That's why I had so many honorable mentions too.
JSN too. Oh my goodness.
He just took the lead over Puka. Probably because of the injury, but he's now has more receiving yards and yards per game. He might be the one to break the Megatron record at this rate.
He might, and that'll be crazy.
They're in an arms race for that Megatron record.
Hey, I'll be honest. I don't know if I can pick one. Whatever guy you pick, I'll be just fine with it because I can make a case for all 5 of those gentlemen. I'm being serious. That's tough.
Honestly, same. And I think if I was forced to, I might go Bijan, because he might break the yards from scrimmage total record. Like, he's on pace to do that now. And yeah, he has more total yards than any of them. So,
all right.
He has a lot of touchdowns, but I think that's more of a usage thing.
Yeah. Okay. If you put a gun to my head and make me choose, it may sound crazy. I might have to go with CMC, man.
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard not to give respect to a guy who's literally keeping a team together, and everybody's just falling around him.
Yeah.
I can't. And they got no business being 4-2, man.
Yeah, that is very much CMC doing that.
Yeah, they got no business being 4-2. And I just think because you know what it is, what he has to do, not I'll just come up and play. No, he has to put up these numbers. Ain't nobody else. Ain't nobody else good enough to keep the offense flowing right now. They all on IR or on the way back. And at this point, I don't even think they're going to get Brandon Ayuk back this season. So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay. I think
yeah,
that's very fair.
I'm comfortable with CMC on that one.
Okay. Defensive player of the year. I also had a bunch of honorable mentions here, but Nick Bonito,
We
Ryan Burns,
Oh.
Aiden Hutchinson,
Mm.
Isaiah Rogers,
Oh.
and Devin Lloyd,
Oh.
whose name I'm sure still haunts you to this day.
Oh my gosh. Godly. Yeah, Devin Lloyd's been balling. He just caught a little injury. He might be out a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rogers been probably one of the better corners this year for sure.
Yes, he's been graded the best, and I mean that game that he had
Against
I think PFF graded as like among the greatest individual games any player has ever played.
Damn. What was the other three? Real quick, just remind me.
Bonito, Burns, Hutchinson.
Hey, we got to start talking about Nick Bonito as one of the better pass rushers. He's been magnificent this year, especially what I saw what he did to Joe Alt, one of your better left tackles in the league. He couldn't even get his hands on him.
Yeah,
but you know what? I could probably guess on who you're gonna go with, but I'm gonna say it for you. Brian Burns has been a fucking monster, bro. He's been a brutal monster. Like, I don't care who you are at left tackle or right tackle, wherever they line him up at, he's gonna kick your ass.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Brian Burns. That's a grown man right there, and he's been playing real grown man-ish all season. Pressures, sacks. He's, I know I don't know if he leads the league in sacks, but I don't care. The guy's impact on, and I don't know if you agree with this, but for me, I think he's the one that's pretty much obviously you can't dismiss Dexter Lawrence. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is that
yes, you can never dismiss Dexter Lawrence.
No, never. But what I'm saying is because obviously Dexter Lawrence is he's gonna command a double team just like Chris Jones in every play.
Yep.
But damn it, Brian Burns has been such a fucking Debo, like literally the bully on the block every time I watch the Giants play. He's beating up tackles all season, and he's been eating his lunch and quarterbacks all season. I'm gonna go Brian Burns.
Okay. I'm glad that you did, because as much as I want to, I'm going with Nick Bonito.
Which I don't hate neither. I don't hate.
Because so Nick Bonito's the leader in sacks right now. He has the third best pass rush win rate, and the two ahead of him don't have anywhere near the amount of plays he has. So he is up there with pressures. Brian Burns has him beat in tackles for loss. Brian Burns has him beat in pass. He has 3 pass deflections as well. Brian Burns has arguably been a better run defender, but Nick Bonito is part of the defensive line that's on pace to make a historic record, and he is outpacing Burns in a couple of important stats. So for those reasons, I feel like I have to as much as I want to be a homer, as much as my soul is telling me, Randy, be a homer. I gotta at this moment go with Bonito. If you had asked me last week, I might have gone with Burns. But now that Bonito has overtaken him in the sacks, it was against the Jets, but still. He's been doing it against good teams too.
He has. He put Joe Alt in the blender, bro. A couple of weeks against the Chargers. Put him in the blender.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those okay. So for defensive player of the year, for comeback player of the year, I have, and obviously this one's always up to some level of interpretation, but
Yeah, because I don't even think the NFL knows how to actually define who's the comeback player of the year.
right, they had it between Joe Flacco for coming from the Jets and being good for 6 games, and he won it over a guy that died.
On the field dead and
Yeah.
then and resurrected. Yeah, so that
Yeah,
was
they had it in the same category. So yeah, they don't know. But, Daniel Jones,
Mhm.
Mac Jones,
Mm,
CMC,
mm,
Aiden Hutchinson, and Quentin Johnston.
mm. Now that's interesting because I thought Quentin Johnson was going to be a bust,
Yep.
and that man has he's been damn near looking like Larry Fitzgerald this season.
Yep. And I really liked him coming out of the draft. I was really surprised that he ended up being as bad as he was, but whatever it was clicked. He's got those hands in control. Now he's catching the ball much better.
I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna be fair. I never was a big Quentin Johnson fan. Obviously, I don't care for the Chargers due to a division opponent, but it's almost like damn near every week he's been in the end zone and making up some kind of big catches. And so I actually feel comfortable going with Quentin Johnson, QJ on this one.
Okay. I like that pick. I'm gonna go with Mac Jones because
that was my initial thought too.
he might have gone from being a journeyman backup to being an actual NFL starter. And I feel like that transition is a pretty big one. Like, granted, it's, nobody ever gives credit to anybody in the Shanahan system, but
yeah,
you were brought in to not expected to see the field, and then the guy in front of you went out. You outperformed him, and now have a 4-2 record with an entirely injured team. That's a lot, So I like that for him. The favorite is obviously Daniel Jones, right? But like, when Daniel Jones starts playing real teams, it's not going to be the same.
That's what I'm worried about, Randy. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because at the end of the day, I'm like, Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones. He's still in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's still in there. I'm waiting for the opportunity to prove some people wrong. They're like, all right, I tried to tell you that at some point the clock was gonna strike midnight, bro. Like, but hey, what do I know?
Yeah. When he's not playing a 1 or 2 win team or a backup quarterback, we'll see what happens. I also, some honorable mentions. Just this one, I think is just kind of interesting for like what it means to be a comeback player. Joey Bosa, I thought about. Carson Wentz, I thought about. Darren Waller, coming back from being a rapper, but he didn't have enough games. And Isaiah Pacheco, fighting for his job back, I did consider.
Yeah.
And playing well.
Better too, he is. Yeah.
So this one's my fun award. It's the opposite of the MVP. It's the LVP, also known as the Kadarius Toney Award. For the worst starting player in the NFL. The one who has actively cost their team games. And I have 5 names. Joe Flacco, Jake Browning, Geno Smith, A.D. Mitchell, and Amari DeMercado.
Ooh. Can I I would have put 2 his old punk ass in that category too, but
he was an honorable mention. The only reason I didn't was because the other 3 quarterbacks have negative touchdown interception ratios and he doesn't. But yeah, I definitely thought about him.
Oh man. I gotta go Geno. Geno's look so terrible, bro. He look bad. Like he's looking like he's back to New York Jet Geno. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Bad decisions. So, which I'll take because he's a Raider and I hate the Raiders. So I hope he dog shit out of them on Sunday. And I hope we get a lot of turnovers from his punk ass. So
okay. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I'm gonna go with Amari DeMercado
That was
because he cost his team 2 different games. It's not even just the game against the Titans, which was bad enough, where he just dropped the ball for no reason and led to that entire series of unfortunate events. But there was also the San Fran game where he had the fumble that cost them that game. So it's tough. They all suck, but yeah, that's the one that I'm going with. I almost wanted to name this the Evan Neal Award, but Evan Neal's just been, he's I don't know, been in Cancun somewhere, like he hasn't been a problem for me anymore, I guess.
That is wild.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe we could set up a poll and people can vote on the name. But right now, it's landed as the Kadarius Toney. It's a play on words too. All right, last one. MVP for protector of the year. I don't know. We can look up pass rush win rates and like sacks allowed and stuff. But for MVP, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and the most controversial one, Justin Herbert. I still have him as the 5th, mostly because, he definitely lost. He was the favorite for it through the first 3 weeks, and then he lost to the Giants, and then he lost to the Commanders, especially with that game losing interception in both. I think that the fact that he is carrying the offense with both of his tackles lost and still has a 4-2 record, I think is enough, considering I don't really know who else you would put there. I think putting him there works. If any of those, if either Puka or JSN starts getting close to that Megatron award, they might oversee him. But I think those are my 5 right now. Do you agree with those 5?
Probably the only one I would probably consider taking out is Josh Allen. I just don't like the way he's playing this year.
Who would you put instead?
Oh no, Patrick got to take that spot. Go look at Patrick's numbers, man. He's killing it. Even when that offense was still starting slow. Obviously, I don't like the fact that he's the leading rusher on the team. We got to get that corrected. But
and I absolutely, he's an honorable mention here. The only reason I think you can't put him in there yet is because they don't have a winning record. I think that by halfway through the season, I think that he will not only be part of this 5, but might end up being the favorite or one of the 2.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put him in over people who are currently winning more than he is, even though I'm enough of a ball knower to know it wasn't his fault.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, man, if I was to pick a winner right now, I can't go past Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's balling.
Absolutely Baker Mayfield.
Balling. And not only has he been balling, he's starting to lose pieces due to injuries. And it hasn't changed nothing. Because I didn't know who the hell Terrence Johnson was. I didn't even know he was even a rookie. I'm like, who is this guy catching a 9 route going straight down the seam? Like,
he's the smallest player in the NFL. He's like $150. He was undrafted. He's fun fact. He's actually Bo Nix's adopted brother.
I saw that.
Which is why I was hoping he was going to end up going to the Broncos. But he's he had Sterling Shepard, who I remember whelmingly. He has Tej Johnson. But he lost Mike Evans. He lost Chris Godwin. He just lost Emeka Egbuka in that game. He lost Bucky Irving. He lost Tristan Wirfs for several games. That's all of his best offensive players.
And it ain't changed nothing.
Yeah. He has the best record in the NFL despite all of that. And I take the most valuable player moniker kind of literally in the way that I think of who should win it. And I don't think you can make an argument that the guy who's leading the NFL in game-winning drives after losing all of his offensive help and has the best record, I don't see what argument you can make for anybody else at this point right now.
Me neither. I think it's his, and I think he's running away with it until further notice.
Yeah.
So, no. Good stuff, Randy, man. As always, man, appreciate you. Man, a great show tonight. Y'all know where to find Randy if you need some audio needs. Panther on Acid on Instagram. Y'all know where to find me. Going over to my Twitter page, KC Wildcard Mar on Twitter. But most importantly, make sure you please like, share, and subscribe to I.O.W Sports Network, the content that we drop. Hit that bell notification. It'll let you know every time we go live or drop some content of any sports topic or anything that we just feel like talking about. So on behalf of the homie Randy, hey, man, we appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. Make sure y'all bring your asses back here tomorrow night for the last show of the week. Hey, you know what it is. Hey, man, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We out here. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Silent Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar.